Great to have your company for what will no doubt be another thrilling WSL post show. Day 2 of the Challenger Series event here at North Narrabeen. The GWM Sydney Surf Pro presented by Bonsoy is a wrap, and plenty of highlight once again. The conditions were perfect today. We had a lot of fun. Ronnie Blakey joined by Laura Anabar. Richie Lovett. Laura, thanks for having us. And yeah, Northie doing its thing. It was fun this morning.
It was fun all day. I mean, there was that little part during the middle of the day where the wind puffed up, but then conditions were fun this arvo, and yeah, that swell's coming in for tomorrow.
Oh, bring it on, Rich. We know that we're going to get that tricky moment during the lowest part of the tide. The sandbar's so shallow out there at the moment, but the surfers kind of stepped up and started to bring those big individual turns for us.
Yeah, absolutely. There was definitely a raise in the performance from yesterday to today, no doubt about it, and we saw a lot of big airs done, but I just love how through the low tide the surf actually held in there perfectly. We had great conditions all day. The wind laid down for most of the day, so more to come. It's only just warming up.
Yeah, it's getting good. Well, we had a fantastic finish to the day, a couple of really close heats. Kyo Abelli getting the win in that last one. Let's hear from him now. He's with Jess.
Kyo, we thought it might have got a little bit more crazy out there with that rain squall, but it still looks super fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. Like on the Gold Coast, it didn't have a lot of opportunities, and yeah, over here just feels like every heat there's plenty of opportunities. You can pick your waves, you can kind of ride the good ones that opens up, and yeah, it's really nice. There's no lack of waves, and yeah, that's just what we need, like a fair opportunity for everybody to ride something.
So in saying this, does this mean you prefer to compete in beach breaks?
Well, it's not every beach break that there's waves like this. Like, it's breaking pretty much in the same spot on that little current. So it's a pretty good beach break. Like, if I had that back at home, I would be psyched. So yeah, it's just some little fun laugh, super rippable. Yeah, I feel good. Psyched to be here.
You spent a bit of time here before, and obviously you have so much wealth of knowledge when it comes to competing. Is this giving you a little bit of an edge?
Yeah, maybe. I don't feel very nervous. I'm like super calm and relaxed. I know if the wave comes, I'm gonna put together a wave, and just yeah, I've been doing this for quite a long time, so definitely there's an edge on the grounds for sure.
Well, guys, if I was one of Kyo's competitors, I definitely wouldn't want to hear that he's not nervous. So congratulations. Looking forward to see you compete again. Anything you want to say back home?
Yes, thank you, everybody. Obrigado a todo mundo que está acordado essa hora. Marradão de passar a bateria, altas ondinhas, e vamos para cima.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Jess. Yeah, amazing how those surfers who've been relegated have just turned their mindset around. Obviously, it's super disappointing to get bumped off that championship tour, especially when you look at the schedule and see the events that are coming. But, you know, you've got to get set, you've got to be focused, and you've got to have a positive attitude, and Kyo certainly tapped into that, Rich.
Yeah, no, he's surfing really, really well. You can see he's kind of lifted his mood as well, and he's excited about the opportunities. I love that, and that's what all these competitors have had today. But, yeah, he's turning things around now and on his way back.
Let's have a look at some of the highlight heats of the day, starting with the very first heat of the morning, Laura, where we saw last year's runner-up to the event fall out of the mix.
I know, this was a crazy way to start the morning with this air by Ian Gouveia, landing in the flats and just riding out with control. We were just saying, everyone's still wiping sleep out of their eyes, and he's just going to the air, backing it up with a fin blow, and just loving these conditions here at North Narrabeen. So exciting. This is Aiden Mason Camp as well. Getting some fun waves.
Oh, love that. Just absolutely stabbed his board into the lip there. Aiden Mason Camp looking really strong, and that was unbelievable, that turn.
Yeah, he's had a couple of close calls over the years, you know, just struggling to get that rhythm and momentum, but he's starting to find it here. Ingevay is stoked, but super unfortunate to lose Jacob Wilcox out of the mix.
It's like a stocky little Jesus walking out of the water there, Ingevay. But yeah, he looked really strong. He's spoke about being toward the back end of his competitive career, which was interesting. But he's come this year and he's throwing everything at it on the Gold Coast. Gave us one of the highlight airs and kicked off the day here with one.
Almost thinking, you know, we haven't seen these massive manoeuvres from him in the past, and he's just saying, you know what, I'm not scared of getting hurt anymore. I just want to go for it. And it's working out really well. Like, he's getting amazing scores.
Yeah, and I
7.5
think...
and a 6.33 out there this morning.
Yeah, impressive. And I think that there's a lot of competitors that could probably have shifted into that attacking mindset a little earlier in the comp, or they'd certainly be thinking that now that they're out of the contest.
100%. You know, we've been talking about it. 4 surfers go in and 2 leave and 2 go home. You know what I mean? It's like... Yeah. It's cutthroat. If you're not ready to play, you're not ready for that 30 minutes in the water, then you better start having a good hard look at yourself. You got to go hard from the opening siren.
Especially first heat of the morning.
Totally.
You know, you got to be on.
Yep.
Yeah, and you got to attack those end sections. We saw more of that in the third heat of the round of 64 today. Let's have a look at some of the best rides now. Reef Hazelwood, so sure-footed on these chunky sections.
Just so treacherous, this end section, especially this morning when there was a bit of water on the bank and it was a little taller. But a great performance from him. He wasn't keeping it a secret that he loves the left-handers, and we know how good this guy is in the air as well. So I think we're only seeing a snippet of what's to come for him.
Yeah, Owen Moss also performed pretty well in this one to get himself second spot. And it was a tough heat. Luke Slipin also in the water in this one. And we're really interested to see how Mikey Madonna would go, trying to back up the victory at stop number 1. And, well, it didn't go too well for him.
Yeah, no, it was a real bummer for Mikey Madonna. I remember I saw him yesterday walking around the contest, and just he was, you know, talking about how after the biggest win of his career, how it feels to have a sort of a come down after that. It's, you know, he said he was tired. He was trying to get his head back in the game, and, you know, just... He's still such a grom, so just learning as he goes, and that would have been tough for him to lose out this morning in this round of 64 after having the win, but he'll pick himself back up and sure be heading on to the next stop. Yeah,
Rich, I think you can speak to it. After you won Trestles, obviously it was a rager, the biggest moment of your career. You've got to gather up your emotions and get set for the next event.
Yeah, you got to be able to just wash that all off. And the hardest thing, I think, is your own expectation, because all of a sudden you think, I've done that, I can do that again, and I will do it again so easily. Yeah. But it's back to square one. You know, first heat of the round, you got to get it done again. So we see it so often.
Totally.
The win and then straight out.
Especially when there's so many emotions involved. Like, it's almost like you see Jack Robinson and some of the CT guys when they win now, they try to just keep a lid on it, because they're so used to being, you know, the win. They try to keep it just an even emotional playing field, not too high, not too low, just it's a long year ahead, you know.
You've been up ever since you won the World Junior title out here back in 2018. It's been incredible.
I don't know about that.
Been a couple of crashes. You got the Guinness World Record.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, mate.
That was like 15 years later, but
yeah.
We're making it work.
You backed it up. That's the important thing. But let's have a look at some of the big names that did fall out of the mix here on the second day of competition. Some of them getting their first heat today, and there was some notable favourites, I think, falling out of contention with some shock early round losses.
Yeah, well, that's the way pro surfing goes, isn't it? You know, you got to you got to win. You got to put in the performances, otherwise you're going to be going home. But yeah, for me, like losing Jacob Wilcox out of the draw, someone who I feel like has been surfing well, you know, throughout the entire year, been putting good numbers on the board, but just hasn't been making enough heats.
Yeah, well, Mikey and Jacob are probably the obvious ones, just off the back of what Jacob did last year and the start for of course, Mikey Madonna. But there was a few others. Josh Burke, he was competing really well, looked sharp. Morgan Siblick found himself in a tough heat. And Freddie Morais, another CT campaigner, falling out of the mix today. So, you know, I just think the field is so stacked that you're always going to look back on a day of competition and say, wow, that's an upset. But someone's got to lose.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
Let's have a look at the Verge Mobile heat of the day. And we could have picked from any number of clashes, but we picked this one because there was plenty of surfers just unloading. Sammy Pupo continues to look impressive, even on the backhand. Really flashy work there on the end section.
Yeah, Sammy Pupo, well, he has just been in scintillating form. And this guy here, he's starting to warm into it. You know, Joel Vaughn, we've been talking about this kid for a couple of years, and he's just getting better and better really quickly as well. He's got it all, and I really want him to do well down here at Narrabeen.
Yeah, well, he's a realist, and he looked back on his first performance at the Snapper Rocks and had a shocker. It was a really disappointing result for him. Sammy Pupo, just blitzing his way to second place in this heat. But as I said, it was such a stacked heat on paper. Dakota Walters and Josh Burke also in the mix. Have a look at that.
Yeah, I mean, you had second place at Snapper, third place at Snapper, and a fifth place at Snapper with Dakota Walters. And Jolie Vaughn just got the jump on all of them. So coming in here with a fresh spark after not making this round last event, and must have felt good to know that, you know, he got the jump on all the guys that got all the points last event.
Yeah, the fam had made their way down from the Central Coast as well. All 50 of his brothers in tow to cheer him on. But it was an impressive performance. And, you know, Joel looked nervous at Snapper Rocks for some reason.
He did.
And in that heat, he just looked like he was back in that attacking mindset.
I think you hit the nail on the head before when you just said that, you know, you can't enter these heats in third gear. You have to be, you know, rock solid and ready to go once you hit the water. And it looked like Joel had sort of gone, okay, I'm going to bring a bit more energy into this event, and he's done it.
And it did feel like a trend today when I was doing the post-heat interviews. So many of the winners were people that had bad results at Snapper. So coming down here early, you know, I think Jolie said that he came down like straight away and just came and, you know, enjoyed time here and just surfed and, you know, put in that work and try to reset. So cool to see the crew just really turn it around.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a fantastic fight for those places on the championship tour. And today was a real surprise, a nice little bump in the swell. And let's have a look at the Surfline forecast and see what's coming our way tomorrow and for the rest of the event window.
Well, I'm pretty excited actually because the forecast looks good. Today we obviously had this, you know, mix of east-southeast and south swell, clean conditions all day today. A little bit of a surprise. That wind just holding off, which was great. Super contestable all day. So, you know, a larger mix of east swell and southerly swell is going to start hitting overnight. And when we look at the long-range forecast here, Saturday through Tuesday, this is our window. From Tuesday, it starts to back off again. So I feel like our opportunity is in the next 4 days to get this thing done. And we're going to have contestable conditions, head high, maybe a couple of double overhead sets over the weekend.
Is Fisher playing at the end of this event as well?
Maybe a surprise appearance.
Are you ready? Are you guys ready for it yet?
No. We'll back up, mate. We'll back up. But it is going to be maybe a quick finish to this contest. We could be crowning our champions pretty soon, but we still got to get through a lot of big heats. We've still got more highlight moments to collect, but today we bagged plenty. And let's check out the BioGlan Daily Dose, our top 5 moments here on day 2, starting at number 5. It was in the first heat of the day. Ian Gouveia taken to the sky once again.
Oh, good morning, Ian Gouveia. I never even had his coffee yet. So impressive. You know, he was stoked, and yeah, I loved his post-heat interview. Who we got here?
Levi Slawson coming in at number 4, and this guy just impresses, always in attack mode, Rich, and really did thread some great combos together.
Yeah, well, he was the king of buzzer beater moments up at Snapper, but he got it done early and really took control of his heat. This guy is a weapon.
Good day for the local boys. Geordie Lawler coming in at number 3, along with Dylan Moffat, setting the fins free on that one.
Oh, absolutely. This was one of the heats where the waves went really tricky, and even Geordie was a sigh of relief to get a couple of waves. He really manufactured those scores, just knows this bank so well. And this was Dylan Moffat. Super late this afternoon. The beach was packed. The Northie guys were just going absolutely mad, and it was a really gnarly heat. Mateus Hurdy was going to the air and would have had 2 excellent scores if he could pull off his airs, but Dylan Moffat got this last heat, wave of the heat, and 7-5, took the win. So the whole local contingent absolutely wrapped, and yeah, their 2 boys through to weekend activities.
Oh, beautiful. And there'll be plenty of them. Coming in at number 2, Alister Reginato saved himself. A sleepy 3/4 to the opening stages of his heat. Came to life in the dying moments and dropped a big backside air to fetch himself an excellent number. But coming in at number 1 today, Jett Schilling, the World Junior Champion, right up against it in this one, Rich, and stopped the beauty.
This was just a clutch moment right at the end of the heat. Jett thought he was done, and he just saw this little wedge, took to the sky, and the emotion, the passion just came pouring out of the kid. The World Junior Champ, showing that he's no flash in the pan, and he wants to get on that tour.
He was like Ricky Bobby too at the halfway after he did the air. He didn't know what to do with his hands, and I saw him down there. I said, "What are you doing? Like, who are you flipping off?" And he was like, "I don't know. I was just, I don't know what I was thinking." Yeah, he was overcome with emotion, but it was a massive turnaround for him. We saw a lot of those moments. And I think as long as we're surfing through that lower tide, we'll see a lot more where surfers throw everything at a section to try and save their place.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ian Gouveia set the tone from the first heat of the morning, the big rotation, and everyone followed suit. And I feel like that's going to be what it takes to win this event. You're going to have to put it all on the line.
The women, Laura, looking forward to seeing that next round for them. They'll be also pretty psyched to get into some, I think, those cleaner morning conditions as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So excited to see the women hit the water. I'm guessing tomorrow morning, so bring it on.
Yeah, it's going to be stacked. We'll see those top seeds enter the mix as well. But that's all we got time for this afternoon on the post show. Check in tomorrow morning, 7:15 a.m. We'll make a call for a possible 7:30 start. Right now, though, enjoy the highlights. We'll see you tomorrow.
This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.